Call of Duty is a series. World War II is a setting. Arguably the worst sequel mankind has ever produced. It's also one of the most highly exploited settings in gaming. From Wolfenstein 3D to Medal of Honor, even to modern releases, game devs can't seem to get away from the World War II setting. But the vast majority of them never reach the same level as Call of Duty World at War. So what makes it so special? What is it about Call of Duty World at War that inspires dozens upon dozens of YouTubers, myself included, to shit out video essay after video essay documenting every minute facet of this 17-year-old game? Could it be that it's just really good? Well, yes, of course it's that, but alright, you know what? Enough dilly-dallying, I'm just gonna show you and tell you why it's so good. Besides, I'm going to say a bunch of shit that you're not going to hear about Call of Duty World at War from anyone else on this godforsaken site. So buckle your seatbelts up, kiddos, it's gonna be a long one. But first, war is fun. Thunder is fascinating. But what do you get when you combine these two together? That's right, War Thunder. This video is brought to you in collaboration with War Thunder, a free-to-play, massively multiplayer vehicular combat extravaganza. Available for PC, Xbox, and PlayStation. Now available on mobile platforms. The gorgeous visuals and intensely detailed combat and vehicular modeling all carried over in a package small enough to fit into your pocket. My grandfather was a pilot during the Second World War. He was so good, in fact, that the Axis powers all collectively surrendered the day after he completed his training. You too can pay homage to his service in this game's intense, pulse-pounding aerial combat system, alongside 75 million other players already playing the game. Piloting 2,500 vehicles ranging from biplanes to jet aircraft alike, with planes and other mechanized beasts spanning from the 1920s to the world's most state-of-the-art modern technology. Seamless optimization for all platforms. Crisp, crunchy sound design. War Thunder is the ultimate vehicular war simulator. The best part? Every single vehicle in War Thunder is entirely customizable. Personalizing your war machine is only limited by your imagination, and new content is always being added to the game regularly. Did I mention that it's free? Well, it is. It is very free, in fact. Free enough for you to download right this instant using the links in the description, where new and returning players of up to 6 months can instantly gain access to the Eagle of Valor vehicle decorator, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days access to a premium account. Available on PC and consoles for a limited time only. So stop wasting time. Download now for free for Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and mobile platforms for free. It's free. Free, you fools. Download now, or your mother will never love you again. War Thunder. So everybody already knows just how much darker World at War is compared to its contemporaries before and after. Everyone has already talked about it, and for good reason. It's intrinsic to the game's identity and is the core of Treyarch's intentions when developing this 5th entry in the mainline series. So much so that I can't even avoid it. Wow, I've got it really easy. I could just steal everyone else's script and call it a day. I can have this video done by tomorrow. Even though Call of Duty was, at its roots, a World War II series inspired by many such contemporary war media, such as Band of Brothers and Saving Private Ryan, and Enemy at the Gates.
Excuse me, says I, but it was
Oh my fucking god, get out of my life! Albeit incredibly authentic, the OG COD trilogy never really committed to the bit of showcasing the sheer horror and brutality of the Second World War. Not unless you count the funny quick-time events laid all over Call of Duty 3. The entire vibe of the first Call of Duty really gives off some hardcore, corny 1960s to 70s war movie vibes a la Dirty Dozen and A Bridge Too Far, down to the set pieces, art design, and the soundtrack. The one mission that evokes these vibes the heaviest for me is that one mansion in Austria, dropped behind enemy lines, gunning down Nazis in close quarters, moving room to room, even complete with the obligatory Indiana Jones hidden fireplace passage, and oh my. Also, yeah, let's get this out of the way. YouTube hates it when swastikas show up in pretty much any circumstance, and it's pretty much an instant demonetization if not censored. But joke's on you, my channel's not monetized. Seriously though, who cares? I'm shooting Nazis, arguably some of the most evil people to ever plague this earth. At least have the balls to portray them for what they are. I'm looking at you, Sledgehammer.
Once we had what we needed from this racist bastard.
What? Whoa, racist! He's a Nazi! He's a high-ranking Nazi! What do you mean? Oh, he's a little bit he's a fucking what? He's in the SS! Oh, Sledgehammer, the black sheep of the 3 Call of Duty dev teams. They're the ones who thrust upon us the 2 singular World War II Call of Duty titles since World at War in 2008, Call of Duty World War II and Vanguard respectively. They are both utter dog shit. COD World War II less so, it's just kinda bland and the sergeant keeps trying to groom the corpsman and the main character.
You've been holding out on me, boys. You better leave while you can still walk.
And Vanguard is actually fucking offensive to me. It's like Sledgehammer went out of their way to painstakingly craft the most cringeworthy video game in human history, and they delivered in spades.
How about this? Project No.
Project Ethan. Reviving the dead.
The setting is completely infantilized, the writing is... I'd honestly say it's MCU tier, but it's even worse.
Suppose that's it then.
The historicity and the authenticity of the setting was completely and utterly shat upon, and worst of all, I think, it insists upon itself. The game takes place with all the fucking Avengers or whatever stuck in a German cell in Berlin, but that's just a framing device, and the game is actually just a bunch of flashbacks about how these 4 goobers are actually the ones single-handedly responsible for winning the war. Russian woman or whatever, say Stalingrad or something? Yeah, okay. Georgy Zhukov, never heard of him. It's all Polina Petrova, or whatever her fucking name is.
Just so you know, I still haven't ruled out killing you all.
I bet the writers of this game look like this. But alright, let's talk about the positive of the game. The shooting is pretty good. Yeah, that's all I got. The game is absolute dog shit. I will admit, though, I had a lot more fun with it after I activated one of those, like, videos in the background where it's like 1 hour of random sound effects from memes. Can't get through any of these cutscenes without expecting some crazy shit to drop. Just like that. I guess I don't think I'm supposed to go through. What? No! Wait! World at War, however, was one of the only games in the series, and quite possibly one of the few games in the genre, to actually portray the World War II setting not only authentically, but honestly. Like, as soon as you boot up the game and hit the main menu, it sounds like the fucking gates of hell are opening. No warning, no build-up, just a harsh sting jabbing into your ears as soon as you arrive. A black and white panorama of desolate battlefields greeting your eyes. The game sets the tone immediately, and you haven't even booted up the game yet. This is just the fucking main menu. Like, the intro cinematics have actual war crime footage spliced into it. It's fucking harrowing. Treyarch really wasn't messing around. I figure I might as well dive right into it. I mean, I'm not touching the multiplayer with the 10-foot barge pole because, for one, it's Call of Duty multiplayer, and 2, the hacker 4chan is on the prowl constantly. Sorry guys, I don't like my shit being hijacked. On the bright side, this video is probably not going to be anywhere near as long as the Max Payne 3 one. Don't worry, I'm not turning into pyrocynical. Or worst case scenario, Cretosis.
Did I ever tell you the definition of insanity?
This game is split into 2 parts, the Pacific Campaign with the United States Marines and the Eastern Front with the Soviets. I'm autistic as fuck, so compartmentalizing with a video like this makes producing content like this much easier for me. What I do want to touch upon before everything, however, is that this game was originally supposed to feature a British campaign that was cut quite early on in development. Yes, they cut the fucking British campaign, oh my god. Not much is known about this campaign and very little information remains, but from what we do know, it was originally supposed to feature covert SAS operations spanning from behind enemy lines in the Netherlands to more larger-scale operations against the Germans along the River Rhine. Hell, a bunch of British weapons were actually left over in the game files. The Sten in particular, the model, animations, and sounds for which were actually reused for the Project Nova mission in Call of Duty Black Ops. You see, yeah, I talked about it, no one else talks about it. Why does no one talk about the British campaign? I mean, to be fair, a British campaign was included in Final Fronts. You know, that entirely separate video game that they made for the PS2 a console by that time of the game's release was 3 years depreciated. Why the fuck would they do this? This doesn't make any sense. Also, shout out to Zanyverse. You might not know him, but about 2 years ago I did a collaboration with him where I did a brief 5-minute segment on World at War on the topic of cult classics from 2008. He creates far more high-quality videos than his sub count might leave you to believe, and I'd honestly recommend you go check him out. I'll link him in the description. He's honestly great if you can get past the whole being Belgian part. The game opens up with a pretty powerful intro expositing the Japanese Empire and its expansion through China and the Pacific. Long story short, the United States revoked their war crime license and cut 90% of their oil supply. The Japanese were less than happy regarding this development, and thus it's war.
That's it. Yes, it's war.
These cutscenes are honestly brilliant. They contextualize the war and each battle perfectly, and they're wonderfully animated, masterfully splicing said animations with real war footage and really grounding you into the conflict. It makes everything in the game feel real, unlike the cringe-worthy self-insert fanfiction displayed in Vanguard.
Forged in the fires. We were the tip of the spear. We
No. You are Private Miller, and after a hard night out of drinking with the boys, you wake up hungover in the custody of the Imperial Japanese Army.
Go to hell.
Yeah, these bosses are fucking evil. You know the Japanese are involved in some shit that made the Nazis tell them they needed to chill the fuck out? This opening level is very good. It's a completely diegetic tutorial that shows the player everything they need to know without explicitly telling them. Show, don't tell, and all that. You're introduced to the weapons the Japanese use very liberally scattered throughout the level, refamiliarizing you with the typical Call of Duty combat system. You can even find a bunch of secrets here, like a hidden stash found in a Japanese hut around the corner of the main camp.
What the hell?
Who took these guys out?
Radio command. Find out if another unit came in ahead of us. Ambush! Boom! Boom! Over there!
The most fascinating part about this game is how the Japanese forces operate against you, the player. They are quite possibly the most unique enemy faction in any Call of Duty game ever. They set up booby traps and ambushes, they hide in the trees and snipe you from afar, they hide in the grass waiting to take you by surprise, and of course the infamous banzai charges. These fuckers are absolutely terrifying. The Japanese are incredibly unpredictable. Much of their ambushes are completely scripted, but their tactics and the styles of their ambushes change all throughout the campaign, from tripwires in the jungle to massive rocket barrages to spider holes dug into the ground. The Japanese keep you completely on your toes at all time. You never know what to expect when engaging them, and they are as fanatical as they are desperate. Even when on the defensive, they are much more aggressive than the Germans, who by comparison fight in a more familiar style like what we're used to from the other Call of Duty games. And as the game flits between the Marine and Soviet campaigns, the difference in enemy fighting styles and how they take advantage of their terrain is what makes replaying the game so goddamn fresh every time you boot it up, and I'm so glad they didn't just make the Japanese another generic enemy for you to mow through. They're entirely unique, have their own characteristics personified by their fighting styles. World at War is easily the most authentic representation of the Japanese army in any World War II game on the market, and for that it has my utmost respect. As for the combat against the Japanese, the Marines host a variety of unique weapons iconic to not only the era, but the Pacific Theater in particular, namely the motherfucking M2 flamethrower. The flamethrower is the perfect close quarters killing machine, and it is fucking horrifically brutal. You can hear and practically smell the burning flesh sizzling through the computer screen as the poor bastards writhe and scream in pain. The grass and foliage withering in its wake, and the trees lighting up like fucking Christmas trees at the slightest touch of its licking flames. It's as satisfying as it is harrowing. And then you have the shotgun. Also, yeah, on the second level of the Pacific campaign, if you jump into each of these craters and wait a couple of seconds, you gain access to the ray gun of Nazi zombies fame. This shit almost got some schmuck at Treyarch fired, and I'm honestly so glad that it didn't happen, because name one single weapon more iconic throughout the entire Call of Duty lineup than the fucking ray gun. Everything else is pretty much straightforward. You got your Garand, you got your Thompson. The Type 99 machine gun, for whatever reason, has enough stopping power to literally slingshot you across the map. It's pretty funny as long as you're not the one getting caught in the crossfire. Honestly, I might have done this to myself. I recorded this video on Veteran, and World at War on Veteran is, infamously difficult. You only die in a few shots, and the Germans and Japanese all pack enough grenades between them to blow up the fucking earth. The reason they do this is to encourage the player to get off their fat asses and stop cradling their rifle behind cover all the time. The thing is, and this is going to be an incredibly controversial opinion, I will admit, Veteran's not that hard. This is still the era of Call of Duty games where the friendly and enemy AI actually pay attention to each other, so your best bet is to hang back and cover them or move up alongside your squad mates, tactically spacing yourself accordingly and letting your allies bear the brunt of the enemy suppression while you pick them off one by one. The Pacific campaign even gives you smoke grenades, which do the obvious, concealing your approach and giving you a brief window of opportunity to be more aggressive with your playstyle. As long as you take stock of everything in your inventory, move up with your squad and keep track of nearby cover and enemy positioning, you can easily beat this game on Veteran in like 3 hours tops. But what about co-op?
Oh, oopsie, oopsie.
What are you doing?
5 feet away. That's
what the fuck, Dave?
He ran in front of the tank again. Shit. I traded the finest smoked sausages for this fucking L'Oreal, buddy, and I'm gonna use it. Oh my fucking lord! Don't get killed by the fucking pillar, alright?
It's an insta-kill. The pillar is an insta-kill. Oh, watch out, the pillar's coming down. Fuck!
Fucking one-shot it.
Just doing the animation. Look at that. Oh, look at that fucking sleek ass animation.
That's fucking shit. Boring, Germans, boring. I count. Boring. Oh dear.
You're fat, you're just fat. Anyone that's not fat like you is automatically a twig.
You fucking calling me fucking dusty and nervous. Right, I just want to preface this by saying we gotta keep slurs to a minimum, okay?
Okay, so get all your out now.
Dave, you can't fucking say that! Believe it or not, this is one of 2 Call of Duty titles that allow you to play through the campaign in co-op. The other one, we don't talk about the other one.
Outcome? Train go boom.
Now, once again, this is entirely my fault. I was under the impression that upping the difficulty to Veteran on co-op would transform the game into some kind of hardcore tactical shooter, with slow, methodical progression with a heavy emphasis on teamwork and team play. I couldn't have been any more wrong. Oh my fucking god! I'm coming around, Oh my fucking god!
Revive me!
50 grenades. There's 50 grenades. There is literally 50 fucking grenades. There is literally 50 grenades. Getting them! I'm getting. Help me! Revive me! I have a ray gun. I have a ray gun too. I love me some World at War co-op, man. It's so much fun. It's completely ridiculous and virtually eliminates the game's tension and retroactively softens the impact of all the game's brutality. But this dissonance, I would argue, makes it way funnier.
Watch this. Uh-oh, skill issue.
What? You doubled down on the fucking war crime. Yeah. Fam, what the fuck? Okay, you tripled down. One of my favorite missions, not only in this game, but in any game ever, is the mission Black Cats, where you assume the role of a gunner in a PBY Catalina. It's an entirely on-rails turret section that lasts no longer than about 15 minutes, but it's carried entirely by its utterly raw sound design and godlike soundtrack, especially once you hit the surface of the water, trying as best you can to save as many shipwrecked sailors as possible from the Japanese onslaught. The characters as well, even though you spend so little time with them, their chemistry together is amazing, communicating to each other clearly and concisely, and acting pretty much as they should given the circumstances.
We need to get below the flat! I can't line up a decent shot! I hear ya! We got empty fire all around! Take out those fucking PT balls!
Which is more than can be said for the entirety of... Okay, yeah, you get the fucking idea. Of course, the Marine campaign is only one short half of World at War, the other being set on the Eastern Front from the perspective of some poor malnourished potato farmer from Georgia. The Soviet campaign is a lot more narratively focused as compared to the Pacific campaign, which focused more on the unique gameplay variants facilitated by its unique setting. But to follow the story of the Soviet campaign effectively, we have to start from the beginning. So let's talk about Vendetta. The game wastes absolutely no time throwing the German atrocities at Stalingrad in your face. The protagonist, Dmitry Petrenko, one of the few lucky ones to survive the massacre at Red Square. The other one being Viktor motherfucking Reznov, a man second only to Captain Price for the sheer size of his bollocks and unbridled badassery. Vendetta follows Dmitry and Reznov as they crawl through the ruins of Stalingrad on a mission to assassinate the German general responsible for much of the slaughter they've fallen victim to. And yes, it's that sniper mission.
Sniper! Get inside now!
This section is very interesting. It's one of the few sniper segments that perfectly present just how complex, tense, and drawn out an engagement between two snipers actually is. Of course, they can't simulate you waiting for 7 hours in the cold and the rain until your rival shows his left pinky finger, but this is about as close as you can get. All except for the fact that this fucker has the pain tolerance of Scarface.
You only wounded him! And you just grazed him!
Also, yeah, I can't get over this, but like every sniper mission in Stalingrad ever, Vendetta was heavily inspired by Enemy at the Gates. Again, I don't understand why game devs keep doing this. Enemy at the Gates isn't even a good movie, let alone a decent representation of the Battle of Stalingrad. At least we get to see Ron Perlman get quickscope. But this mission is important to the story because it plays into the dualism between the Soviets and the Germans. You see the entire city leveled, the bodies of troops executed by firing squad, flamethrowers roaming the streets with rabid attack dogs, and of course, Reznov's morose musing at the burning bar near Red Square.
This place once echoed with conversations of friends and lovers. No longer. Mark my words, comrade. One day things would change. We would take the fight to their land, to their people, to their blood.
Cut to the very next mission in the German countryside of April 1945.
Changed, my friend. Now it is their land, their people, their blood.
The Soviets, blinded by rage and an insatiable lust for vengeance, are taking everything out on every German soldier they can come across, regardless of their involvement or otherwise in the atrocities in the motherland. Which brings me to the character of Chernov. On your first playthrough, he can come across as a bit of a whiny bitch, which is something we noted when playing through the Soviet campaign in co-op.
Oh no, we're going to get the bad Chernov ending. No.
Chernov is not going to see us in a very positive light because we burned a bunch of Nazis!
Is that a real thing?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Chernov, his opinion of you changes depending on how brutal towards the Nazis you are in this campaign.
But, like, he said to kill him.
He's probably a conscript. I mean, I think
well, it's because he's a contrarian fuck.
The thing is, he's more or less the only voice of reason in the entire game, completely aghast at the Soviet conduct towards surrendering and injured German soldiers. Hell, his opinion of you as Dmitri varies depending on how you yourself conduct yourself surrounding these injured or surrendering German soldiers, as displayed in his diary entries heard in the beginning of the final mission.
At times, I have seen him show mercy, but at others act with complete brutality. I do not understand him. Perhaps heroes need not question their actions. His merciless brutality defines him only as a savage, just like the rest of the Red Army. He is no hero.
His last comment about the Red Army is hauntingly true, and this isn't even scratching the surface of what they were up to during their invasion of Germany. An interesting detail as well is that, starting from the mission Eviction, in the beta stages of the game, the player was meant to start encountering members of the Volkssturm, civilians otherwise unfit for military service forced onto the front lines to stem the tides of the Soviet invasion, as implied in the mission briefing.
The Führer demands all to shed their last drop of blood in its defense. The old, the young, the weak. If they stand for Germany, they die for Germany.
It's a shame that this wasn't included because it would have been one of those if you know, you know kind of things, blurring the lines between the Soviet justification of an eye for an eye against the Germans and senseless slaughter. But oh, would you look at the time, it's time for the obligatory segment in every Black Joshi video ever where I gush over the soundtrack in order to pad out the video runtime. World at War's soundtrack is phenomenal. Like most people have already commented, you wouldn't expect a hard rock tune and guitar riff to suit the 1940s setting, but it does. Perfectly punctuating the gritty combat and ruthless atmosphere consistent throughout the entire game. The soundtrack perfectly encapsulates the hopelessness and mechanized slaughter that personifies the Second World War. And it doesn't necessarily make you feel like a badass either, it just makes you feel like more meat for the meat grinder, another single-digit statistic whose ranks untold tens of millions have already bloated. And in regards to the Nazis, there is one track I feel represents them perfectly. A dying war machine, its sputtering and collapsing frame still churning on, fueled by the distant echo of its deceased Führer. If you have even a secondary school understanding of the Second World War, I'm pretty sure you can guess how this game ends. The Soviets hoist the victory banner over Berlin, the Germans surrender not even a few days later, and as for Japan, I think it's best if I just show you.
The victory won in the West must now be won in the East.
Gathered here, representatives of the major warring powers, to conclude a solemn agreement whereby peace may be restored. It is my earnest hope, and indeed the hope of all mankind, that from this solemn occasion a better world shall emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past. A world founded upon faith and understanding of man and the fulfillment of his most cherished wish for freedom, tolerance, and justice.
This isn't a game, it's reality. Everything you played through to some extent really happened not even 80 years ago, artistic license notwithstanding. 60 million died as a direct result from the Second World War, and that's just the low estimate. This ending really grounds you back to reality after everything is said and done. It makes you understand the sheer cost of everything that led to the Allied victory, linking you personally to all the horrors contained within the era. It's sobering to say the least, depressing at worst. This ending is as beautiful as it is somber. It's the perfect tribute to the sacrifices of all those brave souls who perished in the fight for their freedoms against the wishes of a few megalomaniacs who wanted to rule the world. In the April of 2007, Chris Condon released the now renowned Flash game The Last Stand, a pretty basic arcade shoot-'em-up where you're tasked with the sole objective of defending your hideout from increasingly vast and speedier hordes of zombies, using the lull in between days to scavenge for more weapons, repair your barricades and search for other survivors, while managing your time between the 3 tasks before the next round. What does this have to do with World at War Zombies? Other than it's a direct inspiration, you know, zombies, repairing barricades, and the progressive difficulty between rounds. Not much, really. Nazi zombies. A classic, if ever a classic ever be. Jesse Snyder, the man pretty much responsible for the mode's creation and its direction, wrote a blog post detailing the background behind the mode's development, for which I will leave a link to the archived page in the description. What's crazy is that this blog reveals that this entire mode was created between, like, only a handful of people entirely in their own spare times and over weekends, because at that point the rest of Treyarch was on crunch time trying to get everything with the game ready for release. I'd say it's a miracle then that Nazi zombies work so well, but honestly it isn't. You don't need any kind of foresight or prior experience with the mode to understand just how big a hit it was going to be, and its strengths really do lie in its simplicity. You spawn with nothing but a pistol. There are weapons you can buy and doors you can open with points you earn from killing zombies. The more zombies you kill, the quicker you progress onto the next round, where you have to take on hardier and faster hordes of zombies while desperately scavenging for more powerful weapons and equipment, gambling your hopes and dreams away on the mystery box.
Alright, give me a ray gun, 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 give me a ray gun. I'm going to game myself. Teddy.
Later maps added after the game's initial release eventually added perks like Juggernog and Speed Cola, more weapons, and eventually a method to upgrade your guns, the Pack-a-Punch machine, aiding in the player's sense of progression as they stave off waves upon waves of undead Nazis. It's amazing. While still fun in solo, Nazi Zombies is infinitely more fun with other players, with how each map is randomized from the spawn of certain items, power-ups, and weapons retrieved from the mystery box. No one match is ever the same.
Rexophon's got the MP40. Larp.
Wait, hang on. Dempsey's got the Thompson. Nikolai's using a revolver, but that was probably given to him by the Lend-Lease program, so you could still technically say it's accurate.
I don't understand what you're saying. Shut up.
Sometimes when you pop these undead freaks in the head, they'll keep going trying to kill you while their remaining life force swiftly dwindles away. Why bring this up? Well, because this was originally a bug, as detailed in Jesse Snyder's blog, and they decided it was actually fucking Kino and decided to keep it in. Nazi Zombies' atmosphere is one of its strong points, something lost in later entries. Even if the presence of zombies in a game as dead serious as World at War is completely fantastical and kinda goofy, the tone is incredibly eerie, and the horror atmosphere is punctuated masterfully by the spooky lighting, bone-chilling ambience, the zombies' utterly guttural shrieks, and their eyes glowing brightly as they emerge from through the fog. A lot of people ask me what's my favorite zombies map on World at War, and my answer would be...
I think they're all as good as each other.
That's a fucking democratic answer. I don't like that.
They're all good for different reasons.
You have to pick one. You have to pick one.
That's a Keir Starmer.
You would be a great.
answer.
You would be a great politician.
I'm fucking sick of your politician answers. Just say which is the worst one.
They're all great in their own ways.
Yeah, they're all great in their own ways.
You have to pick one!
No, I don't! I like them all!
Thing is, though, I stand by the statement. Narc is zombies in its most basic form. It's easily the smallest and simplest of the bunch, lacking a lot of the quality of life features of the later maps, but weirdly this plays into its favor. You can just jump in and dive right into the action without delay. Verdict is unique in that you can spawn on one side of the map or the other, forcing you to progress through 2 different routes on 2 different playthroughs in order to reach the main power switch. A feature exploited more effectively in co-op, as each half of the 4-man squad is separated by a large door, with the only way to reunite the team being to traverse the entire map and regroup at the power. Shino Numa is obviously quite star-shaped, you spawning in the central hut and forced to open up all the corners of the map, wading through the swamps to access the randomly spawning perk machines. Oh yeah, and this map, it's the map that introduces dog rounds.
Oh my god. Oh my lord. Oh my lord.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh, this fucking splash damage.
Oh, this is a bad idea. This is a very bad idea.
Yes, it was. Yes, it fucking was.
That one just spawned on top of you. Oh! 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 Fuck! No, we need to get out of this room!
Yeah.
They're fucking spawning on top of us!
Oh dear.
They're jumping me! Hey, Dave, you want to see something funny to cheer you up?
It's not enough. I need my speed color.
Okay, Dave, how about this?
Okay.
Irae is arguably the most complex map in World at War. You have to connect the 3 hidden teleporters around the map to the center spawn to access the Pack-a-Punch, which can make even a grain of salt lethal on high rounds. Oh yeah, and dogs spawn alongside regular zombies from Round 16. I love the main cast in this mode. The 4 playable characters are just, you know, angry US Marine, drunk Soviet, honor-bound Japanese officer, and gay Nazi. They're all complete stereotypes, but they're so well acted, so well scripted, and they play off of each other so well, in spite of the absolutely psychotic concept of these 4 even being within 5 miles of each other. I honestly couldn't care less. They're just so much fun. I honestly don't have much else to say on World at War Zombies. Nothing that anyone else hasn't already talked about anyway, other than I love it. I've sunk the vast majority of my hours in World at War into zombies, helped out by the vast array of zombies mods available to download online, and they're alright. I've got a lot of gameplay footage of me and the 3 other idiots left over, and I can't use it all in this video, so I'll likely be uploading a highlight video separately on my Patreon later on down the line, so keep an eye out for that. For now, here are the main highlights.
Oh, my arsehole's really itchy.
Why would you say that?
What is? You're not fucking wiping properly.
How do you wipe properly?
He doesn't. That's why.
No, he doesn't. He just shits and then he moves on. You know that moment where you go through the laundry and you see shit stains on other people's, like, underwear?
No, I don't.
No, I live with fucking
No, I cannot relate to that.
You're a fucking freak, man. I don't want to talk to you anymore.
I simply do not live with people that leave fucking...
Yoshi, my opinion from this hour last.
The real question is, are skidders a fucking skill issue?
Just saying I've had that experience.
You have done why have you done that? Why have you done that?
I think we've got to live with different geezers, to be honest.
Why have you done that?
I'm gonna throw up again. It's the way he said, you guys know when you go to the laundry and you find shit on the views on the way, and the immediate nature in which like they both went, no, what the fuck is wrong with you?
I thought that was a universal experience.
It wasn't.
Oh, God.
My fucking ray gun was going straight through that.
Your what? Your way gun? Your way gun?
My way gun.
Your way gun.
Spitfire, let's play this debris.
Did you say debris?
Debris?
Yeah, it's debris. This Spitfire has a media literacy certificate. He knows what he's talking about.
I've got media literacy, buddy.
Why?
Are you?
Good question.
Good question. I hate you, Dave.
Jesus Christ, man, calm down.
I just said I hate you. That's like the tamest thing I've ever said to you.
It's not. It really isn't.
It really is.
It might be the tamest, but it's the most hurtful.
Yes, I speak to milk. That's my superpower. I speak to milk.
Your superpower is that you go check up on your milk. and you can verify with a single look that your milk hasn't gone back.
Hang on, guys. I need to double check. I need to double check my milk.
What is it? Dave,
you're just gonna slunk that shit.
Dave,
you're gonna overhear him go.
Fucking waterboarding himself with milk.
The milk jugs multiply if he doesn't check on them in like routine intervals.
What the fuck are you doing? You're like a human swastika.
Oh god, he is.
I'm taking a screenshot of that.
Thank you all so much for watching. This is a much longer video once again, and I'm recording these last lines severely exhausted because crunch time is a bitch. And don't forget to download War Thunder right this instant, entirely for free for Xbox, PlayStation, mobile platforms, and PC. Use the links in the description and instantly gain access to a massive bonus pack available on PC and consoles for new and returning players of up to 6 months for a limited time only. Come on, man, you want those silver lions, don't you? You want that premium account. What are you, some kind of square? Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon for notifications on future videos. And of course, I live stream every weekend on Saturdays and Sundays, 7 PM British time. Come check them out, it'll be a lot of fun. Patreon and social media links in the description. Thanks for watching, and have a great day. I need to go to fucking bed.